Hey guys, so the time has finally come for me to make this video. Okay, so one of the main questions I get in my DM all the time is, how do I move abroad? Or how do I move to Vietnam? Or how did you do it? I get loads of other questions, but this is my main question. And I used to sit and write paragraphs and try to help people out, but y'all, when you get the questions so many times, it gets tiring. So I decided to finally make a video to answer any of those questions for you. And hopefully by the end of this video, you will know exactly what you need to do to not only move to Vietnam, but to move to any country abroad that you want to move to. So what I did was write a few of the questions that I always get. I'm going to answer them all. If I forget anything, please feel free to write down in the comments, and then I'll answer them questions on another video. Okay, so here we go. All right, guys. The first thing I have on my list is to decide where you want to live. Before I get into that, I'm just going to go ahead and answer my second most asked question is, why did I choose Vietnam? The answer, to put it simply, is it was random. It was so random. It wasn't thought out or anything. Literally, I was up one night or one morning. It was like 3 a.m. I hardly sleep. I sometimes find myself on Google or YouTube, and somehow I ended up on expat videos, and I ended up in Vietnam. I had thought about a conversation I had with my nail tech, and she was actually telling me that she was from Da Nang, which I have now visited, and then so I thought about that. So I was looking at expats, and then somehow I ended up in Vietnam. I looked up Da Nang, and then I just kept going. I kept going, and it went from me wanting to visit Vietnam to, you know what, I really don't want to be in the States. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and move to Vietnam. I was in esthetician school at the time. I went to class. I told some of my classmates, y'all know what, after we graduate, I'm moving to Vietnam. And that was that. Here we are, I think 10 months later, and I have been living in Hanoi, Vietnam since July of 2018. So that's how I ended up here. Okay, so let's get into the first thing I have on my list, which is decide where you want to live. The world is very big. There are a whole bunch of countries. Some are very, very safe. Some are not so much safe. Some have many things to offer foreigners, some not so much. So what I would say is to think about the things that you really, really need in a country that you're moving to, and then kind of go off that to choose the country that you're going to move to. For me, I don't have children. I'm just a single girl. Vietnam pretty much offers everything that I need here. The mailing system is trash. And that sucks because I am a person that just really, really loves to order things offline. But I guess that's helped me save money in a way, because just getting things mailed here, you just might as well forget about it. Okay, so the second thing I have, and the most important thing before you're going to travel anywhere and before you think you're going to move abroad, is to find out their visa requirements. This is so simple to do. All you have to do is go on Google and type in visa requirements for Vietnam, or how long can Americans stay in this country? What are visa requirements for Americans in this country? And it will spell everything out for you right there on the internet. So for example, for Vietnam, Americans are allowed to get a 1-year multi-entry visa, which is the visa that I went ahead and bought. If you don't get the 1-year multi-entry, I believe you can get a 1-month visa, or a 3-month visa, or a 6-month visa. Regardless of which type of visa you get, as an American, if you are not on a work visa, you have to leave the country every 3 months and re-enter. That was something I had to learn the hard way. So please understand what I mean. I thought just because I had the 1-year multi-entry visa, I was good. I didn't have to leave for a year. I had asked this question a few times online on some of the Facebook forums here, and it seemed like no one really knew. I actually got, oh no, you're good for a year, you don't have to worry about it. Some people did say I had to leave every 3 months, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. I bought a 1-year multi-entry. The rules still apply. unless you're on like a work or business visa, if you're just on a tourist visa, you still have to leave every 3 months. So I think I had stayed here. Yeah, I didn't take my first trip out of Vietnam until I went to Hong Kong, which was my first trip out the country. And I get to the check-in counter to check in. She's looking at my visa and my passport like, do you have another visa? And I'm like, oh no, that's it. And he was like, yeah, you overstayed. So I was so nervous. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I ain't even been here that long. They're about to kick me out. But I just had to go over to immigration, like explain to them I just didn't know I'm on a 1-year multi-entry, and I just had to pay a small fine, and they went ahead and just let me leave. So everything worked out. You do not want to overstay your visa. So the visa, we call them visa runs, and that's when a lot of people can get their traveling in. Even if you're just not here like me as a home base but love to travel, at least every 3 months you can leave, you can go to another country for a few days and then come right back. Okay, so please do not forget about the visa. What I did also want to explain to you is Vietnam does a visa on entry, but you have to go ahead and apply beforehand. So there are a few websites to go ahead and apply for the visa. I actually will leave one in the description box, and hopefully it's going to be the one I use, but I chose between 2 that I had found on Lonely Planet. My visa was prepared. You can just get the regular visa where your name is on a list with other people. I wanted mine separate. You just pay a little bit extra to get your name on the paper by itself. And you bring that piece of paper with you when you're coming to Vietnam, and don't go to the line, immigration line, thinking you're about to go in the country. No, when you get off the plane, I think it's like right to the left, you go to that window, you give them your paper, they'll prepare your visa for you, put it in your passport, and then and only then are you good to go. But as a tourist, you have 3 months in the country, and then you have to leave and return. Okay, so my third thing I have on my list is school or university. So this is going to tie into ways you can move here, reasons some people move here, etc. Some people move here just to move here. They don't want to stay in their country anymore. They're like, you know what, I'm about to go to Vietnam. That's where I'm going to live. That was my reason. Just didn't want to be in the States anymore. Chose Vietnam and I moved here. Some people come here for school to go to university. I have friends that a lot of them came here for school and then ended up teaching English, and that allowed them to just stay in the country. They still have their visa, and they just kind of made Vietnam their home for right now. So a lot of people do come for university. The second reason is some people work in the international schools and they teach English or they teach another subject. Now there are English centers here for people who might not have a degree in teaching or a teaching certificate, so you can work in an English teaching center long as you have a degree and a TEFL. A lot of them need a degree and a TEFL. But if you are a person who has a teaching degree, you can work in one of the international schools, which has great benefits. They give you a work visa, and so you don't have to leave every 3 months, if I'm correct. And I think they have certain benefits. If you have children, they can go ahead and go to school here as well. I know a woman who works at one of the nice international schools, and her daughter is here. She's a senior in high school, and she goes to school as well. So you just kind of need to figure out, before you're going to move over here, it's cheaper than living, I'm just going to say America because that's where I'm from. It's cheaper than living in America, but you still have to make money some type of way. So you need to figure out what is going to be the way you're going to bring in income. A lot of people that live abroad in Southeast Asia that I've met are digital nomads. They have some type of job doing work online, whether that's freelance writing or photography, whether your Instagram or your YouTube is popping. Whatever it is, this is the spot for digital nomads. When I say spot, I mean Southeast Asia. But you have to figure out what you're going to do to bring money in before you move over here. Okay, so my next one is to make sure you take care of everything back home. So because I kind of just left, I took care of basically whatever I had to do. I had one storage unit in Houston, and then I just put all the rest of my things in another storage unit. So I have 2 storage units back home. I had just bought a new car in January for my birthday, and I left in July. But I left my car with my best friend. I took care of any bills that I need to take care of, and any other bills, they just come out automatically out of my bank account. And that's pretty, I mean, I know I get this question a lot, and sometimes I'm like, are you kidding? It's just not that hard. It's not that hard. So just take care of whatever like loose ends that you have at home, and if you feel free enough to leave, then leave. Okay, so my next one, what to pack. Before I came, in my research and watching YouTubes and reading about the different cities, I decided that I would either choose Hanoi, which is up north, or Ho Chi Minh City, which is down south. They are polar opposites, literally. But Ho Chi Minh City is so hot. It's hot all the time. It's hot year round, it seems like. It's always hot. Hanoi gets every season, but when it's hot here too, but it's not like deathly hot like Ho Chi Minh City. But when I first moved here, I packed 4 suitcases. 4. I paid the extra money and everything, but I just knew, I was like, I'm not going back to the States no time soon. I ain't got time for it. I'm packing everything I need. So actually, in my mind, I thought I said in my mind, in my heart, I honestly thought I was gonna be moving to Ho Chi Minh City. So I packed just like nothing but summer clothes. I was going to come to Hanoi for a week and then fly down to Ho Chi Minh City for a week and then decide where I wanted to move. Well, I got here, I was in my Airbnb, you know, I kind of looked around, and I was just tired, y'all. I was like, I'm not taking these suitcases, I'm not doing nothing, I'm just gonna stay in Hanoi. So I stayed in my Airbnb for a week. On the second week, I went ahead and extended, but I also started looking for apartments. I got on Facebook, I just wrote in one of the forums about, hi, I'm Alexis, I'm looking for an apartment here, these are the things I want. I was like, I want a balcony, it could be a 1 or 2 bedroom, and here's my budget. Once you do that, you will be flooded with leasing agents here that are willing to take you around. I think I looked at a lot of apartments, maybe like 10 or 11, and then honestly on the last day I came into this apartment and I was like, yep, this is it. I have a 1-bedroom apartment. It also has a study, and that's kind of what made me choose this apartment, because it's quite spacious, it's quite modern, but I also do lash extensions, and I knew that I wanted to work from home, so the study is perfect for me because I can put my bed, I can put all my supplies, and I do my clients in the study. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You just pack what you think you're going to need. I had a rude awakening. Hanoi does have a winter. Okay, I didn't have not a flat to cover my toes, not a boot, not a coat. Okay, the winter came and I was like, I am not ready. So thankfully, I kind of just up on a whim decided to go back to the States in February, and this time I brought back 2 suitcases like filled with more summer clothes, but I also bought winter clothes as well. Okay, yes, I put find your apartment. Once you get here, that's pretty easy. Once you get here, so you can go on Facebook. There are all kinds of pages just dedicated to people and expats that live in Vietnam. So one of the pages that I used was Hanoi Massive Housing. The real Hanoi Massive, y'all, that's just a troll page. It will give you a headache. But Hanoi Massive Housing, you just pretty much go on there, make a post, say who you are, and let them know your budget, the things that you want, and the leasing agents will contact you. It is like literally finding an apartment was the easiest thing I did once I got here. It was a piece of cake. But I will say in that they do things a little differently here. Sometimes they might ask you for 2 months deposit, and then some apartments make you pay 2 months at a time. I will tell you, negotiate that rent payment, because I do pay 2 months at a time for my rent. I'm almost up on my year, and I am going to ask them, could I start switching to 1 month at a time? But try to negotiate those things right up front. And it's not every apartment. I have friends who just pay monthly, but my particular apartment, we pay 2 months at a time. Okay. That's pretty much it. So I'm just gonna kind of freestyle a little bit. Those were the main questions like that I always get. But guys, I just want to say this, and I'm gonna kind of go into my preachy inspirational mode. It's not hard. It's not hard unless you make it hard. I literally decided in the morning that this is where I was gonna move. I got my visa, I bought my ticket, and I left. I just left. That is why I changed my Instagram name to She Just Left. That is exactly what I did. I did not complicate the situation. I didn't make it harder than it has to be. It doesn't have to be that hard. If you know that you want to leave, then just leave. Even if you get here and you're not sure if you want to live here, buy the ticket, have your visa ready, come over here for a month or two, and if this is not where you want to be, if you don't feel that you're ready to have the expat life or live abroad, then go back home. But it's just honestly not that hard. It's not that hard. Figure out what you're gonna do for your finances. I will get into that a little more. In my travels and even just talking to people I've met here, I meet a lot of people who were bartenders and waitresses and waiters. They just said, you know what, I saved up. I knew that I wanted to leave. I knew that I wanted to travel for a few months, so I saved my money. When I left, I had a good chunk of money in my savings account, and I was like, you know what, that's what I'll just use to get me by. I also do lash extensions, so thankfully I have clients where I have enough clients where I barely have to go to the ATM for spending money. My clients keep money in my pocket. So even if you can't leave right now, if you know in your heart that where you are at home is not where you want to be and you want something different, y'all need to change up those habits. Stop shopping, stop going out to eat, sacrifice a little bit for a few months so you can leave and get to where you want to be. Like, it's just really that simple. I actually feel funny like trying to explain how easy it is because it's just that easy. I want to shout out Zina. She is one of the people that I watched her YouTube before I moved here. I'm going to leave her name as well. After I decided to move here, I started watching like several people that live abroad in Vietnam in particular, and I love Zina's page because she's this black girl, but she's from England. She was just like young and just fresh, and like, you know, I done moved to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and she gave some really great advice. But even looking at her page, I was just like, yo, she's just learning along the way. She has no clue what's going on, but she also knew that she didn't want to be home anymore. She said she looked up Ninja Teacher. She found out what she needed to do to teach English abroad, and she moved. I met Zina when I went down to Ho Chi Minh City, and she just happens to be one of my friends now. We went to Sri Lanka together, and it's pretty amazing to know that one of the people that inspired me to move to Vietnam, I've taken a trip with her. But again, it's really that easy. So I would say really sit down and think about if this is something you want to do. Even if you're unsure, just buy the ticket and go visit whatever country you're deciding, or come visit Vietnam and see if it's for you, because it's not for everybody. I've met people who I've met some people who have been here for years, 5, 10, 15, some of the older like retirees. And then I met people, one of my last clients, she's like, I've been here for like 6 months, I'm getting ready to move to Paris. It might not be your spot, but if you do know that you want to live abroad, just find your spot. It might take you hopping from a few countries, but you will find your spot and you will get settled in, and it is just what it is. So if I could leave you with the most important things from this video, it will be to figure out what you're going to do to bring money in, because you just have to have funds coming in. You can't come over to a country and just be stuck. But also know the visa requirements. And I do want to say one more country that I know a lot of expats go to. I just came back from Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I learned from an expat there that it's like the #1 spot for digital nomads. There are so many foreigners there from different countries, and they pretty much figured out how to make their funds. They do work on the computer. But Thailand's visa rules are different from Vietnam. I think Vietnam is so lax. It makes it so easy to move to this country. But Thailand, you only get 60 days, not 90 days, but you can extend to 90 days on a tourist visa. But like when they leave the country, there's, I don't know, the girl I met there was trying to explain to me, but it's just a little bit more difficult than Vietnam. Vietnam, you get 90 days right off the bat. If that's like, you know, what you choose to pay for the visa. No, if you pay for a multi-entry visa or you pay one by one, all you do is get the visa renewed, but we can stay 90 days at a time without leaving. So yeah, just make sure you figure out the visa requirements for the country that you choose. I thought this video would be much longer and I thought it would be much harder, but guys, it's so simple. It's so simple. And I may have missed something, but I just covered the top things that you need to know. So if you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments and I will answer them on the next video. Alright, that's it. Hopefully I catch you over here in Vietnam or in another country on my travels. But you guys can do it. If you really, y'all just lash. It's getting on my nerves. But if you really want to leave, you can leave. It's not that hard. Just have it together and get out. Okay, I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.